When I did share my story, the response was overwhelming, humbling, and deep.
Just moments ago, news broke that has left fans of Michael J. Fox around the world in tears. The beloved actor, who has spent more than 3 decades courageously battling Parkinson's disease, is now facing a heartbreaking new chapter in his ongoing health journey. For millions, Michael J. Fox isn't just a movie star, and he's a symbol of hope. From his iconic role as Marty McFly in Back to the Future to his groundbreaking advocacy for Parkinson's research, he's shown the world what true strength looks like. But now, as new reports emerge, it's clear that the toll of this long and difficult fight is beginning to weigh heavily on him. Those close to the actor describe him as tired but unbreakable, a man who continues to smile through the pain even as his condition worsens. His latest statements have sparked an outpouring of emotion from fans, people who have followed his journey since the 1980s and can't imagine a world without his optimism and wit. Michael himself has never asked for sympathy. Even as the disease took away his mobility, his acting career, and many of life's simplest pleasures, he's continued to inspire others to live fully and fight bravely. But this latest update, revealed just minutes ago, has shaken even the most devoted supporters. What's happening to Michael J. Fox right now is more than just a health setback. It's a moment that reminds everyone of his humanity, his courage, and the fragile strength that has defined his remarkable life. From the outside, Michael J. Fox's life looked like the perfect Hollywood dream. By his early 20s, he was one of the biggest stars in the world, the charming, quick-witted face of an entire generation. With his breakout performance as Marty McFly in Back to the Future, he became a cultural icon overnight. But while millions adored his boyish smile and electric energy, few could have imagined the private battle he would one day be forced to fight. In 1991, at just 29 years old, Michael received the devastating diagnosis that would change his life forever: Parkinson's disease, a degenerative neurological disorder with no known cure. For someone whose career relied on movement, timing, and expression, it was a cruel twist of fate. At first, he kept it a secret. For nearly 7 years, he hid the symptoms from the public: trembling hands, stiffness, loss of balance, all while continuing to work on hit TV shows and films. Behind the camera, though, the toll was immense. He drank heavily to cope, trying to numb the fear of losing everything he had built. But then came a turning point. In 1998, Michael made a bold, life-changing decision. He went public with his diagnosis. It wasn't just an announcement. It was an act of defiance. "I'm not going to hide anymore," he said. "This is who I am now." That moment changed everything, not only for him, but for millions of others living with Parkinson's around the world. Suddenly, a face of courage replaced the image of illness. People saw not a man who was sick, but one who refused to be defeated. Michael's next move was extraordinary. In 2000, he founded the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research, which has since become the world's leading nonprofit organization dedicated to finding a cure. To date, it has raised over $2 billion, funding groundbreaking studies and clinical trials. Even as his condition worsened, Michael remained fiercely active, testifying before Congress, giving interviews, and encouraging others never to lose hope. His resilience inspired countless fans and celebrities alike. Oprah Winfrey once said, "Michael doesn't just live with Parkinson's, he teaches the rest of us how to live." But while his public image remained positive and strong, those close to him saw the silent struggle behind the scenes. Every movement became harder, every day more unpredictable. Simple tasks like walking or speaking clearly demanded extraordinary effort. Yet somehow he never lost his humor. He often joked, "If I'm standing still, it's only because Parkinson's hasn't noticed me yet." That humor became his weapon, his way of fighting back. Over the years, Michael continued to appear on screen in beloved roles, like The Good Wife and Curb Your Enthusiasm, proving he was still the same sharp, charismatic actor, even as his body betrayed him. But as time went on, his appearances became fewer, his energy more limited. Still, every public moment carried weight, a reminder that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it trembles, Behind every speech and smile was a man enduring unimaginable challenges, constant pain, loss of coordination, and a disease that relentlessly progresses. Yet through it all, he continued to live with gratitude, saying in one emotional interview, "With Parkinson's, you learn to cherish what you have. I may have lost some things, but I've gained perspective. I've gained peace." For over 3 decades, Michael J. Fox has stood as a symbol of resilience, a man who took his suffering and turned it into purpose. But now, as heartbreaking reports emerge about his health, fans can't help but wonder if the fight has finally taken too much from him. And as we move into the next chapter of his story, one thing becomes painfully clear. Even the strongest heroes sometimes face battles they can't keep hidden forever. In recent months, heartbreaking updates about Michael J. Fox's health have left fans around the world deeply emotional. Though the beloved actor has always been open about his ongoing struggle with Parkinson's, what's happening now feels different, more serious, more fragile. For the first time, the eternal optimist who inspired millions is beginning to speak with a kind of acceptance that feels final. During a recent interview, Michael admitted something that stopped everyone in their tracks. His once confident voice, now softer and occasionally trembling, carried a rare vulnerability. "I'm not gonna lie," he said. "Every day is getting tougher. Parkinson's isn't something you win against. You just learn to live with it. But lately, living with it is getting harder. Those who have followed his journey for decades know he's never been one to dramatize his condition. He's faced surgeries, physical therapy, and the relentless progression of the disease. Yet he always managed to smile, to joke, to turn tragedy into hope. But now, even Michael himself admits that the disease is taking a greater toll than ever before. In the past few years, he has suffered multiple spinal injuries caused by falls, a common risk for people with Parkinson's. These accidents have left him in constant pain and required intense rehabilitation. At one point, doctors warned him that his mobility might never fully return. Still, he fought his way back, learning to walk again with a determination that amazed even his medical team. But as time passes, the physical strain is visible. Fans who saw his emotional appearance at the 2023 Back to the Future reunion noticed that he leaned heavily on co-star Christopher Lloyd for support. When he hugged Lloyd, the audience gave a standing ovation that lasted several minutes, not just out of nostalgia, but out of respect. They knew what it took for Michael just to be there. Behind the scenes, his family, wife Tracy Pollan and their 4 children, have been his rock. Tracy, who has stood by his side since 1988, continues to be his emotional anchor. Friends describe her as fiercely protective, ensuring Michael doesn't push himself too far. Their love story, built on strength and compassion, has been one of Hollywood's most enduring. Yet even with his family's support, the disease continues to advance. Michael has confessed that he's now living year by year, maybe even day by day. In his documentary Still a Michael J. Fox Movie, he offered a brutally honest glimpse into his reality. The daily tremors, the exhaustion, the pain, the frustration of being trapped in a body that no longer cooperates. Still, the documentary wasn't about despair. It was about resilience, a reminder that while Parkinson's may have slowed him down, it has never silenced his spirit. "I don't fear death," he said in one scene. "I've had a wonderful life. What I fear is missing the moments in between, the laughter, the family dinners, the love." Those words struck a deep chord with viewers around the world. It wasn't just about a famous actor struggling with illness. It was about the universal human experience of facing time, loss, and mortality with grace. In one particularly touching moment, Michael was asked what keeps him going. His answer was simple: gratitude. He said that every morning he wakes up and thanks life for giving him another day, no matter how hard that day might be. But even with his unshakable optimism, recent photos and interviews show how much the disease has progressed. His movements are slower, his posture more hunched, and his speech often interrupted by tremors. Fans who grew up watching him can't help but feel the heartbreak of seeing their hero fade before their eyes. Still, Michael continues to appear in public whenever he can, not to seek sympathy, but to raise awareness and push for a cure. He once said, "I'm not afraid to look bad. I just don't want to give up." That quote alone perfectly captures who he is, a man who refuses to surrender, even as his body betrays him. As the world watches these new developments, one thing is clear: Michael J. Fox is still teaching us what real courage looks like. He may be losing the physical battle, but in every other way, he continues to win, inspiring millions with his honesty, humility, and heart. When everything else seemed to fall apart, his health, his energy, even his sense of control over his own body, one thing never left Michael J. Fox: his faith in love, family, and the human spirit. For Michael, family has always been more than a source of comfort. It's been his lifeline. His wife, Tracy Pollan, has stood by him through every heartbreak and hospital visit, every sleepless night, and every uncertain tomorrow. Their story began back in the 1980s when they met on the set of Family Ties. What started as an on-screen romance blossomed into something far deeper, a real love story that would soon face tests no one could have imagined. When Michael was diagnosed with Parkinson's at just 29, many assumed it would end his career and possibly his marriage. But Tracy refused to leave his side. "We made a vow," she said in an interview years later, "in sickness and in health, and I meant every word." Together, they raised 4 children, Sam, Aquina, Skylar, and Esme, and built a family life grounded in laughter, resilience, and unwavering love. Michael often credits Tracy and the kids for keeping him grounded when fame, illness, and pressure could have easily broken him. He once said, "Tracy gave me everything I could ever need: strength, perspective, and the ability to laugh even when I didn't want to." That laughter became their family's secret weapon. In moments of pain, Michael would crack a joke or smile, not because he felt like it, but because it reminded everyone that love was still stronger than the disease. As Parkinson's slowly took away pieces of his physical freedom, Michael turned even more toward faith and gratitude. He doesn't often speak about religion in detail, but he's always been open about his belief in something greater, a kind of spiritual balance that gives meaning to his suffering. "If you can find something to be thankful for in every situation," he once said, "you'll never completely lose hope." And it's that hope that continues to carry him and his family through even the darkest moments. In recent years, as his symptoms have worsened, his children have taken on a bigger role in his care. They help him move around, keep him company, and make sure he never feels alone. Michael has called them the best part of my life, proof that love really can outshine pain. Even in his most difficult days, he refuses to let the disease define who he is. He still takes walks with Tracy, watches old movies with his kids, and spends time playing his guitar, even though his hands tremble. "Music still makes me feel alive," he said. "It's one of the few things Parkinson's can't take from me." His optimism has also inspired an entire community of people living with Parkinson's. Through the Michael J. Fox Foundation, he's met thousands who see him not just as a celebrity, but as a fellow fighter, someone who truly understands their daily struggle. He listens to their stories, comforts them, and always tells them the same thing: you can't control the disease, but you can control your attitude. It's a message that's become the foundation of his life. Those who've spent time with Michael in recent years describe him as peaceful, not defeated, but at ease. He's accepted that his journey has limits, but he's also deeply proud of the legacy he's built, a legacy of compassion, research, and relentless hope. And that legacy doesn't just live on in the medical breakthroughs his foundation supports, it lives in the millions of people he's touched. Fans who grew up watching Back to the Future often write to him, saying how his courage gave them strength to face their own challenges. One fan wrote, "You made me believe that no matter what happens, I can keep going." For Michael, that's the greatest reward. Even as his body weakens, his heart remains strong. He once reflected, "I used to think happiness was about getting what you want. Now I think it's about appreciating what you have, and I have so much." Through family, faith, and unshakable optimism, Michael J. Fox continues to remind the world that real strength isn't measured in how hard you fight, but how much love you give while fighting. As time moves forward, and Michael J. Fox's health continues to decline, one truth stands tall above all others. His legacy will outlive the disease that tried to destroy him. From his early rise as a teen idol to his transformation into one of the most respected figures in Hollywood, Michael's story has never just been about fame. It's been about humanity. His life has been a masterclass in how to live with grace, humor, and purpose even in the face of unimaginable adversity. These days, Michael appears in public only occasionally, often with visible difficulty walking or speaking. Yet every time he steps onto a stage or makes a rare television appearance, the crowd rises in thunderous applause. They don't see a fading actor, they see a warrior. They see a man who has given more hope to the world than most could ever dream of. In one of his most recent interviews, Michael spoke with an honesty that brought tears to millions of fans. "I'm not afraid of what comes next," he said softly. "I've had an incredible life, a lucky life. I just hope I've done enough to help others before my time runs out." Those words echo through every part of his journey. Because even when the cameras stopped rolling, Michael never stopped being a hero. His fight against Parkinson's has changed medical research forever. The Michael J. Fox Foundation has funded breakthroughs that are bringing scientists closer than ever to understanding, and one day curing, the disease. His influence extends beyond the screen, beyond celebrity and deep into the heart of science, compassion, and progress. And yet perhaps his greatest contribution isn't money or fame. It's the way he's faced his pain with dignity. In a world obsessed with perfection, Michael showed that vulnerability can be the greatest form of strength. Those who know him best say that despite everything, he still finds moments of pure joy, playing with his dog, sharing quiet mornings with his wife Tracy, laughing with his children, and enjoying the simple beauty of life. "I may not move fast," he once joked, "but I still move forward." It's that unbreakable spirit that defines him. Even now, as his health worsens and fans brace for what may come next, Michael's presence continues to inspire new generations. Young actors who never even met him speak of his courage as a blueprint for living authentically. Scientists credit him with reshaping how the world views chronic illness. And millions of fans from every corner of the world continue to send him letters filled with gratitude and love. His message remains timeless. Never give up. Never stop believing that your life still has purpose, no matter what challenges you face. In a moment that broke hearts around the world, Michael recently admitted that he doesn't expect to live a long life, but he's not afraid. "I've had more blessings than I deserve," he said with a smile. "If this is the last act, then I'm proud of the show, and perhaps that's what makes his story so deeply moving." He isn't just a man fighting a disease, he's a man teaching the world how to live fully, even when time feels short. For over 3 decades, Michael J. Fox has been proof that courage isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up every single time. His journey has been painful, yes, but it's also been profoundly beautiful. Through every tremor, every surgery, every sleepless night, he's shown us that strength comes from love, laughter, and an unwavering belief in the goodness of life. So as the world watches and prays for him, one thing is certain: Michael J. Fox's story will never end in silence. His laughter, his optimism, and his relentless hope will echo far beyond his lifetime. In every life his courage has touched, in every breakthrough his foundation funds, and in every heart that learned from him that true heroes never quit. Michael J. Fox may be slowing down, but his spirit, that bright, unstoppable light, will keep shining forever.